In my last video, I blew up the world. Don't worry though, since then, it got better. Till I blew it up again. Then after a whole lot of soul-searching and self-reflection, I determined that it was completely unacceptable and arrogant of me to do the worst possible thing a single person could possibly do, not just once, but twice. So I lent an active hand in helping the world get better once again, and better it got, better than it had ever gotten before, in fact. And as we laid the final brick to our own material heaven on earth, we as a collective of sentience, innovation, and equity gave a mighty cheer, audible from space. Then I blew it up again. Because the rule of 3 is so worth it. And I intend to leave it at 3, since I have my limits when it comes to blowing up the world. Today, though, I'm going to touch on an often overlooked classic of Flash animation, which has no such limit. Roll the intro. What do you get when you combine Monty Python, Don Hertzfeldt's Rejected, and pretty much every popular webcomic of the last 20 years, only to then extract any aesthetic or philosophical depth that they had going for them? You get a definitive gem of low-effort animation that has no doubt influenced many developing minds who were given way too much internet access. The Demented cartoon movie. This half-hour epic was a high-traffic feature on Albino Black Sheep, a similar site to Newgrounds that also hosts a bunch of Flash animations. It wasn't the sole hosting site for this thing, but that's where me and my friends were first exposed to it. I watched this thing dozens of times as a kid, a surprise to everyone I know, but having now revisited it as an adult pushing 30, I can now partake in one of SA YouTube's favorite pastimes, ascribing a status of low-key genius to some dumb shit I'm nostalgic for. A major key to why it remains so funny to me is the structure and the pacing. The opening credits, a mercilessly long way to say it was almost entirely thrown together by one sad, lonely dude, complete with a seizure-inducing homage to Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which I'm playing in slow-mo so you can appreciate the standard of quality ahead of you, conveyed by this masterful title card. Then, for the next few minutes, you get world-building. Slow, ambient, methodical world-building that spells out the rules of this existentially terrifying blank canvas shaped entirely by the imagination of its creator.
Blah.
Oh.
From these first couple vignettes, we learn that words blow off heads, an immeasurable number of nameless stickmen will die, and perhaps best of all, a duo of dumbfounded dudes are watching the madness with you.
Is it me or is this movie making less and less sense?
I think it is.
Then why are we watching it?
I don't know. I think we're watching it because it doesn't make any sense. Oh.
Eventually, it gets a smidge more ambitious, introducing a word that causes nuclear explosions and a big doofy-eyed mascot who uses it as a catchphrase.
Sticky Boogie Dude.
Oh crap.
Oh crap, that's gonna be broadcast all over the world.
What do you have to say in your defense? What do you have to say in your defense? What do
Sticky
you have
Boogie
to
Dude.
say?
This portion of the movie takes up the most runtime and culminates in two guys trying to get to the bottom of the explosions by going to Mars.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I've got a rocket. Let's go.
Makes as much sense as anything else in this. In a prolonged sketch that plays like the dumbest mod of Hotline Miami ever made, they try, retry, re-retry, re-re-retry, re-re-re-re-retry, re-re-re-re-re-retry, rocketing through space, failing to do so in ways predictable and not so predictable. And it's from this point on that the body count of the Earth itself starts to really go up. I won't spoil how this whole thing ends, but trust me when I say, no matter how highbrow you think you are, you're gonna laugh at some point during this set piece. And yes, I'm calling it a set piece that ranks among the work of Bird, Miyazaki, Bluth, Bakshi, and Judge. Fight me. The movie signals the end of the Zeke word stretch with an old-time song and dance number, only to not long after introduce a word that blows up the world instantly.
Leaks Magzip.
Definitely more efficient. Along this entire ride, the movie self-deprecates through Normie, Stadler, and Waldorf, indignant dialogue from equally annoyed characters,
In fact, furthermore, the person who made this movie is a complete jackass.
and even this tome that you need to pause the movie in order to read, which incidentally has led to me saying "Oh fudge bard" to this very day. It really relishes in the fact that not only did someone sit for some obscene amount of time to make this thing, but that someone somewhere was actually watching it to the end. Poor bastard. If he only knew that 2 decades later, people would spend 3 times that amount of time learning about makeup empires, real-life murders, or how much or little internet personalities weigh. Or my favorite, recaps and analysis of entire Nick sitcoms I didn't even watch. It does sadly end in the end as opposed to the beginning, which it kinda did in hindsight, and I love that bit. It kickstarts the finale with a superhero parody that manages to rope in every in-joke featured up to that point. It's come a long way since those endless voids where stick figures come in, say blah, and die, and the Pandemonium after the fact is a fitting conclusion to this stupid 30-minute Flash cartoon. Now, if you remember the Demented cartoon movie, treat yourself to a rewatch and feel free to reminisce in the comments. And if you have yet to corrupt yourself with this magical piece of internet history, I'll leave a link to an HD capture in the end slate and the description. For further reading, I recommend this retrospective by Two Left Thumbs. Dude does a much better job than me diving into its production history and informs it with his channel's focus on old Flash animations. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a fun, quick little video to pump out. Be sure to subscribe if this did anything for you.